Shalom. I want to start off by giving all honor, glory, and praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of the house of David, and shalom unto the hopeful elect, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, and that consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners, who might look like the heathen nations, but your seed line on your father's side goes back to the Israelites. Unto all of you I say shalom. All right. So what do you see in front of you? This is a scale, because Yahweh our power, all right, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai our power, is a just power with just weights and balances. You see, all right. And today we're going to be talking about the law. All right, so this is going to be a part 2 to my last video where we went over the 10 commandments. Okay, so today we're going to be going over mainly the dietary laws. Okay, and also I want to touch real quick on the Shabbat a little bit. So I want to show you a little illustration here of a brother here on the grass relaxing. Okay, because see, that's what the Shabbat is all about. All right, and also we're not supposed to be, really listening to like worldly music or doing anything worldly. This is all about Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So watching videos of the brothers, okay, of Great Millstone, watching my videos or other videos who are breaking down the word of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai correctly, okay, going out on the highways and byways and preaching the gospel, okay, or just relaxing, just plain out relaxing is also lawful. Okay, so we're gonna go to Exodus chapter 31 verse 13 through 17. It says, "Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep." Verily means surely. Okay, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, that doth sanctify you. Right? So the Lord set us apart, made us a holy nation, man. This is our mark. This is how people know who we are. All right. And it says throughout our generations. So this isn't something that's going to be done away with, like the modern pagan Christian church says. All right, verse 14, ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Right, holy means set apart. All right, so it's set apart unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. You see? Because that was a sin worthy of death, you see. But now we don't get put to death right away, because why? Because Yahweh Shai, our Lord and Savior, has given us a grace period, all right, to get our act together, you see. Verse 15, 6 days may work be done. And also the Israelite government isn't really set up with power right now, so we can't really, execute judgment according to our laws anymore, you see. So just a side note there. Verse 15, 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest. Right? And I showed you on the last video that whenever the moon is a new moon, which means the moon is black and you can't see it, it's the opposite of a full moon, it's a new moon. Okay, when that night comes around, the first night when the moon is black, that's the beginning of the first day of the month. And then you calculate that from sundown to sundown is the first day, and then that's the second day, and then the third and fourth. On the 7th sundown, right, from that new moon sundown, which was the first one, that 7th sundown to the next sundown, that period is the Sabbath. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Let's say today is Friday, May the 26th. Okay, actually today is the Sabbath. Yesterday started at sundown, Thursday sundown, and it will continue until Friday sundown. You see? And so that was also the new moon. I forget how many weeks back it was, but the new moon was on Thursday sundown to Friday sundown, and so the next Sabbath after that is going to be again Thursday sundown to Friday sundown, Thursday sundown to Friday sundown, Thursday Friday to Sunday sundown until the next new moon. All right, and when that next new moon happens, that is a Sabbath. Doesn't matter if it's the seventh day. That becomes the new seventh day. You see? That's how it's calculated. All right? And all of your high holy days, or most of your high holy days, will fall on so-called Sabbaths and new moons. All right? Some of them will be at different times, but it doesn't matter. Once you get the basic understanding of Sabbaths and new moons, okay, you'll be able to easily calculate it, and I'll show you that in the next video, okay? But for now, we're talking about just the regular Sabbaths, okay, and the new moons, okay? And verse 16, wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. You see? Perpetual. And I'm going to get this definition for y'all Christians out there. Perpetual. What does that mean? Never ending or changing. You see? It never changes. All right? A forever covenant. That's what that is. All right? That don't mean, oh, until the Christian church come around, then we change it. No. Fuck the Christian church, man. You guys are the most wicked people on the earth, man. Lying to people, man. Telling them that God is a white man. Telling them that they don't have to follow any of the laws. All you have to do is believe that this white man named Jesus exists. And just because you believe he exists, you can do whatever you want. You're still going to go to this magical place called heaven forever. But if you don't believe in this white man, then you go and burn forever and ever and ever. That's a fucking fable, man. A bunch of bullshit, and it don't make no sense. And see, that's another thing, man. A lot of you people out there, you need to have common sense, man. The scriptures will really make more sense when you think about them logically instead of dogmatically, like you've been taught by the Christian church. Okay? So with that, let's keep going. Verse 17, it is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. See, there it is again, in case you missed it. Forever. Okay, it is a sign. For in 6 days, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. Okay, Yasharala, and that's the point, is we supposed to rest so we can be refreshed. You see, sleazy Edomites, the so-called white man, all right, their wicked elites and their peons force us to work 7 days a week, right? Or they force us to work, at least 5 days, all right? And most of the time on the Sabbath day, man. They don't even know when the Sabbath day is, nor do they care, all right? And if you want to take the Sabbath day off, man, they're going to look at you funny. You can't even tell them, I'm taking it off for the Sabbath, My ass might end up getting fired, man. And that's another thing. When you're dealing with your employer, all right, you don't have to tell them all your business. Just let them know, hey, something, hey, I got some stuff to take care of, or hey, I won't be able to make it to work. Yeah, just say I won't be able to make it to work on, such and such date. I will need to have that day off. I can make up my hours another time. If they got that flex scheduling stuff, that's really a great thing, But a lot of these jobs, they won't even offer that, because they're wicked as hell, man. And they don't need you there every day. But they would rather you sin against your power than them not feel like they have, every grip of power over you. They want to feel like they have so much power over you, they can pick and choose what day you come in, even though it don't goddamn matter. If I put in 40 hours in 2 days, or 40 hours in 3 days, why you need me the other 5 days, man? You see? Of course, it depends on your field, If you work in fast food, you got to be there at certain times and shit. But if you're working in a warehouse, making equipment and shit on a machine, or you're assembling shit. You get jobs that got to get done, in a month or two. That job don't got to be done by Friday or by whatever. That job could be done in a month. So if I get it done in a month or in half a month, and I just work 3 days a week, and I take the Sabbath off, what is it to them? See? But it's not about logic in this kingdom, man. It's not about just weights and balances, man. It's about power and control, and bowing down and worshiping the white man, Esau, Edom. All right, and their false god, Jesus Christ. You know. So with that, definitely keep the Sabbath. All right. If you, for whatever reason, you're one paycheck away from being broke and homeless, all right, and you have to break the Sabbath, use wisdom with that, man. You know, I don't like to break the Sabbath, but you got to use wisdom, man. The Lord understands we're in the land of slavery, and there's nothing we could do. All right. We eat abominable foods and abominable shits in the air, and there's many ways that we're forced to sin against our own will. See, but we ask Yahweh Shai, or Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, for forgiveness, right? Through his son Yahweh Shai, we have forgiveness. All right, but we still have an obligation to follow the law to the best of our abilities, to rehearse the righteous acts as is written in the scriptures. You see? So if you're one paycheck away from being homeless, all right, that's also something that you could fix depending on your situation. Start saving money, stop spending money on bullshit. All right, suffer a little bit, man. Save that money up. So if your employer wants to be a fucking asshole, you could tell him to go fuck himself, and you take that day off, and you enjoy the Sabbath, man. If you got a few $1,000s in the bank and you don't have a lot of bills, that'll carry you for a while until you get your next job. If you have an asshole job that don't let you take no days off, man, get you another job, man. You could go, I'm not saying quit right away. Use wisdom, man. Don't go homeless. Take a few weeks, whatever. Get you that other job, all right, and then slowly transition over and then quit. Boom. If they give you that flex time, or if not, hey, that's what vacation is for. That's what sick days are for. That's what personal days are for. Do whatever you got to do, man. Do whatever you got to do, because at the end of the day, you can either worship man or Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. See, fuck this kingdom, man. Don't take no pride in your job in this kingdom, man. This kingdom is simply slavery. That's all it is. All right, you're not doing nothing good for the world. You're not doing shit for the world. And either way, we're not of this world anyway, man. So yeah, you are doing something for this world. You're making it stronger. So fuck this world, and fuck these jobs, and fuck this bullshit. All right. Your priority should be following the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So with that, let's go ahead and go on to the next part. I want to talk about unclean foods. All right. So yes, we do still follow the dietary laws. All right. Let's go ahead to Leviticus chapter 11. Okay. And we're just going to read on down. Leviticus chapter 11. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. Right, because, let me show you guys actually a picture of this. So chewing cud, that just means they eat grass, right? So animals have to eat grass, divide the hoof, and they must be cloven-footed. He cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. See, the camel follows one of that criteria. He chews the grass, he eats grass, but he does not divide the hoof, see? So let's actually get that chapter again here. All right, verse 3 is the key. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts that shall ye eat. So let's go to Google Maps. All right, cloven footed. All right, and we're just gonna go here, get some pictures here. Okay, you can see this is a cloven hoof, cloven hoofed animals. Okay, like some good examples of this are, okay, like look, the pig actually does it, right? But we know he's unclean because he don't eat grass. He eats his own shit and a bunch of other stuff that's disgusting. All right, so that's what the foot, cloven footed, right? So it's got like the hoof parts in two different pieces, right? It's not like one solid hoof. See here it is, cloven hoof. See, boom, 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 boom. It's two. That's what it means, cloven, or two. Uh, uh, it splits the hoof, right? It's split down the middle. All right, and then see the dog. You can't eat the dog because he doesn't have cloven foot. It actually has like paws, right? You can't eat stuff with paws, right? Hey, cloven hoof. See, so it has to have. There we go. That's the perfect picture right there. So it has to have uh, feet like that, right? And it has to eat grass, right? Like the cow, right? So see, it's a clean animal. He only eat grass. He not eating bullshit, right? And he's cloven footed. So cloven footed and eat grass. Those beasts you could eat, right? You get a list clean animals here. Part hoof and chew cud. Okay. So, you know, I believe the giraffe is clean. The cow, buffalo, deer, lamb, things like that, right? Here's a good one here. Yeah. Lamb, chicken, turkey, certain birds, buffalo, deer. Of course, the fish will get to that. So let's go back to Leviticus. Okay, in verse 4. And it says, nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but he divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. See, so some of them eat grass, but they don't divide the hoof. Some of them divide the hoof, but they don't eat grass. See, and the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. See, so that means pork. Swine is pork, right? So you a lot of you people out there, man, you love your pork, especially you Latinos, Negroes, you be eating them pork chops. Latinos, you be eating them fucking, that pernil, right? Bacon, you see? Pork, you can't be eating that. That's unclean foods. The Lord will kill you for that, man. The Lord is not playing with the dietary law, man. Y'all people think it's a game. It's not a game. Alright? Do not eat pork. If you are in this truth, man, do not eat pork, man. That is an unclean animal. Just look at that. It looks disgusting, man. You know? Alright. So, and I'll get some scriptures to back this up too, because a lot of y'all, you know, I mean, this is the law. So, of course, we're supposed to follow it. But for you rockheads out there, I'll provide some scriptures that tell us we're still supposed to follow it, okay? Verse 8, of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. See? So you're not even supposed to be touching ham, pork chops, bacon. Alright? You're not even supposed to touch it. That is a sin to touch it. Don't touch it. They are unclean to you. You see? So, if you got a loved one or you live with family and they be eating pork and they got pork in the fridge, don't touch it. Don't touch it. If you got to deal with it, if you got to move it around, wear gloves. You see? I used to work at a pizzeria and shit. I wore gloves, man, when I touched the dough. Because I didn't know who was touching it or if there was a little piece of pork, man. You never know. Or the dough itself could have pork ingredients, man. You know how many ingredients be in our food nowadays? They could slip pork in there, you wouldn't even know it, man. Because they just call it by a different name. They'll call it enzyme, and give it a number. Or mystery, they'll call it natural flavor. That could be anything. I could take a shit and put it in your food and call it natural flavor, bro. You wouldn't even know it, man. As long as they label it something, they don't have to call it pork. You see? And that's why it's better to make home-cooked meals, Yasharala. Make home-cooked meals. Stop eating out all the time. Because the more you eat out, eventually, you're going to end up touching something unclean or eating something unclean, man. All right? These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. So you can eat freshwater fish. You can eat saltwater fish. All right? But they have to have fins and scales. You see? So right here, fish with fins and scales. See? So let's get it. Okay, so stuff like this. See, you got the what the hell? Why is always some bullshit when I'm doing a video? Okay, you see this? Fins right here, and then you got the scales right here. The scales, for those of you that don't know, are these little diamond shaped things here that the fish has on the skin. Okay, it's like a hard outer layer that they, almost like a protective layer that they have, right? So as long as they have fins and scales, you can eat them, right? So I'm gonna give you an example of something that don't have fins and scales. I'm gonna get some unclean foods here. I remember seeing this picture a while back. So right here, you see you got lobster. They don't have no fins. They don't have no scales. You see? You got catfish, they got fins, but they don't have scales. See? Sharks, they got fins, but no scales. See? Crabs, crawfish, and octopus, and squid, and shrimps, which is a sea cockroach, they have no fins or scales. See? You can't eat that. You cannot eat those foods. Alright, so only the clean fish. Now there's a website, there's a resource you can go, clean and unclean fish. Okay, I think it's right here. Let's see. And it's just not gonna work. Okay, let's go over here. Damn, the internet is fucking bugging today, man. What the hell's going on? You know what? Fuck all that bullshit, man. You could just look it up on Google, right? And basically do your own research, because you can't trust no websites anyway. You can't trust, once you establish that something's clean, write it down, okay? Once you establish that it's clean, write it down so you can have a nice list of foods you can eat. And it's really not that hard, Yasharala. The only hard part is the first day you see this video. It's just writing shit down. And then after that, you just got to do it. It's not hard at all. It just, what might take an hour of your time to figure everything out, and that's it. You're set for life. All you got to do now is obey. You see? So there's no excuses. Let's keep going. All right. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean to you. Right. So that's talking about rabbits, swine. All right. And let's go down. Where were we? We were at fish, right? Yeah, fish. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of anything which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. Right. So any reptiles, alligators, lizards, amphibians, frogs, that's all unclean. Okay. Verse 11. They shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcass in abomination. And you're not even supposed to touch their carcass. You see? And that includes pieces of cooked pork that might be touching your food, man. Don't eat that shit if you see it, man. If you see it, don't eat it. And don't touch it with your hands. See? Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales. What? I'm sorry, Yasharal. I lost my place. Where are we? Yeah, they shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcass in abomination. Whatsoever hath no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. All right? Shrimp, crab, lobster, squid, clams, all that food, that seafood people be loving on these, these Moabites and Ammonites, right? So-called Chinese, Japanese, they like to torture their food first. They like to dip it in acidic foods and poke its eyes out and make sure it's squirming before they swallow that shit down. You see, the Lord's gonna destroy those people, man. Bunch of abominable people, man. Those people are disgusting, man. You see? Learn not the way of the heathen, Yasharallah. We are a holy people. We're set apart. We don't eat bullshit like that. All right? So let's keep going. Verse 13. And these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. All right? So it's talking about birds now. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle and the ossifrage and the osprey and the vulture and the kite after his kind. The vulture's disgusting, man. They be peeing on themselves just to stay warm. Every raven after his kind, and the owl and the night hawk and the cuckoo and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl and the cormorant and the great owl and the swan and the pelican and the gier eagle and the stork, the heron after her kind, the lapwing and the bat. All right? All fowls that creep going upon all fours shall be an abomination unto you. Okay? So, right there, okay, that's talking about insects. All fowls that creep upon all four. That's talking about ants, cockroaches and shit like that. Okay? So out of the birds, though, that we just read up here, out of the birds, you could eat any bird that's not on this list, right? So basically, just watch out for eagles, ravens, kites, vultures, owl, the little owl. I wouldn't eat any owls, just because I'm not sure which owl it was talking about. So just stay away from all owls. All right. So basically, in America and in simple terms, yeah, you could eat chicken, you could eat turkey. All right, but don't be eating duck. Don't be eating all this other shit that's unclean. All right, I forget the duck. I think was unclean because it has webbed feet. But yeah, just eat chicken and turkey. All right, and yeah, the stork, the lapwing, the bat. Don't eat bats. Don't eat no insects except, and we're going to go into verse 21. It's going to tell you there's a few insects that are lawful, Yasharallah. And you might want to write these down because, hey, you never know if the economy and shit, once the economy and this system collapses, man, we might have to eat bugs for a while, man. So you might want to know which bugs you can and cannot eat. All right? These are the clean bugs, so let's get it here. It says, yet these ye may eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even these of them ye may eat. The locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind. All right, why y'all think there's more species of beetle than almost any other animal in the world? Why you think that is, man? The Lord gave us those options, man. All right, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. All right, so that's locust, bald locust, beetle, and grasshopper. All right. And I know a lot of you might be thinking, man, that's disgusting. I'll never eat that. I'd rather die. No, write it down just in case. You never know. So anyway, when you starving, that's gonna look like a steak on four legs. But anyway, verse 23. But all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. So every other insect out there is abomination. Bees, wasps, hornets, ants, dragonflies, all millipede, centipede, all that, cockroaches. Every insect that's not those 4 insects that it just mentioned, you cannot eat those. Verse 24. And for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until the even, right? So if you kill a nasty ass bug, make sure you pick it up with a fly swatter or use gloves or napkin. Don't touch it with your hands, all right? Because then you'll be unclean. And whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even, right? So that's talking about any of these animals, man. If you bear a carcass, so if you pick up a dead pig, you have to move it out the way or some shit. Yeah, you got to take a shower or a bath. It says, let me see, where does it say? Whoever touches the carcass. Oh, it just says you'll be unclean. Okay. Verse 25, and whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. So yeah, you got to wash your clothes, right? Because when you pick up that pig or whatever, that carcass is sitting on your clothes. That's nasty. So you got to wash that, all right, and you'll be unclean till the even. The carcass of every beast which divideth the hoof and is not cloven footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you. Everyone that toucheth them shall be unclean. So don't touch it. Alright? And if you do, you're unclean. Alright? And whatsoever goeth upon his paws among all manner of beasts that go on all four, those are unclean unto you. Whoso toucheth their carcass shall be unclean until the even. Alright? So you Moabites, you Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, all you people out there, and some Americans, man, you never know what's going on behind closed doors, man. Eating cats and dogs, you can't be doing that shit. All right, the Lord's gonna destroy you for that. All right, so obviously, don't be eating cats and dogs. All right, let's keep it going. Whoso toucheth their carcass shall be unclean until the even, right? So if your dog dies or whatever and you carry it, you have to carry it somewhere, you're going to be unclean until the even. All right, that's just how it is. All right, 28, and he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even, they are unclean unto you. All right, so when your dog or whatever dies, wash your clothes and you'll be unclean until the even. Alright, these are commands, so we have to do them. This isn't a suggestion. Verse 29, these also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth, the weasel and the mouse, and the tortoise after his kind. Alright, that's turtles, tortoises, mice, weasels, all that, and the ferret and the chameleon and the lizard, right? All these reptiles, and the snail and the mole. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever doth touch them, when they be dead, shall be unclean until the even. Alright? And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, doth fall, it shall be unclean. Whether it be any vessel of wood, or raiment, or skin, or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein my work is done, wherein any work is done, it must be put in water, and it shall be unclean until the even, so it shall be cleansed. Yeah, so if this stuff falls on a plate, these dead animals fall on a plate, on clothes, on whatever it falls in, you gotta put it in water. Let's see, what does it say here? It must be put into water. Alright, so you gotta wash it with water, and it shall be unclean until the even. So it shall be cleansed, right? So you can't use those plates or any of that until the evening, all right, after you washed it in water. And every earthen vessel where into any of them falleth, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it. Okay? Of all meat which may be eaten, That on which such water cometh shall be unclean, and all drink that may be drunk in every such vessel shall be unclean. Right? So if that those whatever unclean animals go on a plate, right? Uh every earthen vessel, uh whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, ye shall break it. Yeah, so if you had a plate with food on it and some nasty animal touched it, you got to break it. All right, it's unclean, and you can't eat that food either. All right, earthen vessel. Let's get that real quick, because a lot of these things may or may not apply. Just depends, because sometimes we don't have these things. Let me look it up and make sure. All right, of the floor, structure made of compressed earth. That's talking about pottery. Every earthen vessel, right, wherein to any of them falleth, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, you got a plate full of food, or, you got a bowl, a pot, or a earthen vessel, some type of pottery, whatever. Yeah. And unclean carcass fall in there. You can't eat the food, and you got to break it. It's unclean. All right. 33, verse 34. Of all meat which may be eaten, that on which such water cometh shall be unclean. All right. So water that's had that carcass on it, and all drink that may be drunk in every such vessel shall be unclean. All right. Yeah. So let's say some bugs fall in your wine pot, or I'm sorry, your wine. Let's say you have what the hell they call those things? Back in the day, they had like a freaking a pitcher, right? A pitcher made of clay, right? And you put wine in there, yeah, and a bunch of nasty bugs fall in there. All right, it's unclean. Okay, and every vessel that you pour that wine into that's been contaminated by, let's say flies or bees or whatever, okay, and you pour that wine into 4 cups, now all those cups are unclean. You see? And everything whereupon any part of their carcass falleth shall be unclean, whether it be an oven or ranges or pots, they shall be broken down, for they are unclean, and shall be unclean unto you. So you see, so you got to break them down. You can't use them no more. Okay? Nevertheless, a fountain or pit wherein there is plenty of water shall be clean, but that which toucheth their carcass shall be unclean. Okay? So if you got like an endless water supply, you got a river or the ocean, the whole ocean's not going to be unclean because someone dumped a dead pig in there. All right, there's too much water. All right. Nevertheless, a fountain. Yep. And if any part of their carcass fall upon any sowing seed which is to be sown, it shall be clean. Okay. But if any water be put upon the seed, and any part of their carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean unto you. Okay. Yeah, that water is unclean, because it touched the nasty carcass, and now the seed is unclean. And if any beast of which ye may eat die, he that toucheth the carcass thereof shall be unclean until the even. Yep. So another beast. So let's say a cow starts touching a dead pig. That cow is unclean until the even. All right. So if you kill and eat that cow, boom, you're unclean. It's as if you ate pork. And he that eateth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. He also that beareth the carcass of it shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the even. And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination, it shall not be eaten. Whatsoever goeth upon the belly, right, talking about the snake, and whatsoever goeth upon all four, whatsoever hath more feet among all creeping things, that's the millipede, centipedes, that creep upon the earth, you shall not eat, for they are an abomination. Ye shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth, neither shall ye make yourselves unclean with them, that ye should be defiled thereby. For I am Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, your power. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping things that creepeth upon the earth. For I am Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to be your power. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the beasts, and of the fowls, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beasts that may be eaten and the beasts that may not be eaten. You see? This is the full dietary law, Yasharala. Okay? So take notes. All right? Take notes which animals you can and cannot eat. All right? You cannot eat shrimp, pork, crab, lobster, duck, catfish, rabbit, sharks, crawfish, and a lot of you like to eat these foods, right? These are the common foods. You cannot eat these foods anymore. All right? Stick to the clean stuff here, chicken, turkey, deer, cow. All right? Fish with fins and scales. All right? And you can't eat this garbage over here no more. You see? These animals are not meant to be eaten. Okay? So with that, we're going to go and get one more script. All right? Because there's another rule in Genesis. Okay? That's actually separate. Okay? Let me get that real quick. Or is it Leviticus 3? Let's get Leviticus 3. Okay. I'm going to go to the end. Okay. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Okay. You can't eat this no more. Okay, Yasharala. I know you learned this from the white man, but we can't be doing this no more, man. You can't be eating your steak like this. You got to eat it well done. All right? You don't have to burn it. Like this one on the left here, that's good, right? It's still juice in there as far as water and the natural fat that every meat has, right? But it don't have because if you read that whole chapter, it's really talking about the separate fat. All right, so let's see. Fat on the steak. I'll give you an example so y'all can see what I'm talking about, okay? So you see, you can't be eating this type of steak either, even if it's well done. Because look, there's fat. There's just fat right here, just fat right there. So you got to trim that off. And you got to cut around here and cut around here. All right. All right, the rest of this stuff is iffy, right? Because look at that. You got a whole chunk right in there. All right. Now, I do understand that all meat has fat, tiny amounts of fat in it, right? But what the scriptures is talking about is this cap right here, that stuff like that needs to be trimmed off. All right. The fat that's naturally in the muscle, that's okay. All right. But cut that off, wash it with water, like your sink. That way you get the blood out of it. You see? And don't be cooking with duck fat or any type of fat, really. You can cook with butter. You can cook with olive oil, okay? Don't cook with no margarine either. That's fake man-made fat. Don't be cooking with no fake man-made fats, canola oils and bullshit, They may be lawful, but they're not expedient because those fats break down and oxidize in your body, and that will cause cancer, okay? So stick to natural fats. Grass-fed organic butter is the best. All right. Even regular butter is okay. All right. And olive oil is good too. So, with that, just kind of stick to that thing right there, right? And of course, like I said, wash the meat because there's always a little bit of blood left in there. Okay. And cook it well done. Cut the fat off and boom. Right? Now, that you combine that with Leviticus 11 that we just read, and you have the full dietary law of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. So with that, I gotta go. But thank you for tuning in, and I hope that was edifying unto the hopeful elect. Until next time, I say Shalom.